I am not supposed to get emotional. Yeah. Well, first off, you probably recognize one of the reasons all these wrestlers are here. It's what we're calling our 50-40 reunion. 50 because 50 years ago is when the wrestling program started, 1963 when I came here. 40 because 40 years ago when this team we're honoring today won the championship. And the program was discontinued after 28 years in 1991. So today we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the program. And this weekend we're honoring all the wrestlers from the 28 years of the program. Following this ceremony, there will be a reception in Maxey Hall to honor all the wrestlers that have returned from the 28 teams. We want all the wrestlers that have returned for the reunion to be photographed with T, the Potsdam bear sculpture, which we have gifted to the college. The bear is named in honor of Tom McHugh. Okay. Rather than taking time to go through all the individual records and all the team schedule and records, we had these put on your table. I hope if you haven't looked at them, you will. Of this championship team, it will give each individual that wrestled in the lineup their records. It will tell and give you the team schedule and how well we did. I want you to notice that we beat Syracuse in Syracuse. That was quite an emotional day to beat a Division I team like that. 3 good recruiting years came together to produce this team. One of those recruiting years we have to thank is Frank Millard, who filled in for me while I was on sabbatical. This group of men were exceptional in many ways. They were good wrestlers from good programs. They had a winning attitude, and they shared their maneuvers with one another. They taught each other. I learned from them and used many of those maneuvers the rest of my career. They had a great work ethic and motivated and pushed each other. In fact, they put more pressure on each other than I did. My job was managing and drilling them. The team had 30 members at the start. Many of those members never made the varsity lineup. Most of them stuck it out, and we really got to thank them. And this is their day. They stuck it out, and they pushed the others. Their days, some of them in past seasons, upperclassmen that got beat out. And many of the others, their seasons were to come in the future. Those men, as well as those that were in the lineup, are now being recognized by this award. One of the reasons for this team's outstanding success was that the competition in the wrestling room was tougher than what most of the athletes met in matches and tournament competition. They were passionate about the sport, and they had fun. They're still having fun. You know what? It's fun to win. They were family. Some of them lived together. They traveled together. They took care of one another. They protected each other, as well as pushing each other for success. They were and they are good people. To this day, they care about one another. I can tell you that from listening to the stories last night. And they keep in touch with one another. And with me. I thank them for that. One of my greatest rewards I have for coaching is the relationship and friendships I have with them. You will notice that this team lost only one dual meet, an away meet held right after we returned from winter recess. That means a lot because, remember, in this sport, we have to make weight. That loss motivated us. We strengthened the lineup, and in the SUNYAC tournament, defeated the defending champion Brockport, which had been our only loss. And for example, to show you how this was a team and how they worked together, Tom McHugh, who could not make the lineup at his weight class, 177 pounds, or at 190 pounds, wrestled heavyweight. and he took second in the SUNY conference. We'll talk more about that later on, but you look at the sheets, you'll see his record. 2 weight classes above, and 2 years later, he became an NCAA runner-up at his own weight, 177 pounds. These men are still champions. They have gone on to be successful as parents and in their professions. They have been as good in their postgraduate lives as they were on the mats. And before we recognize the team, I think I wanted to say a couple more things, because I'm at the end of my notes here. First, will all the wrestlers stand up? Everybody that had anything to do with the wrestling program, managers, anything. Wow. Look at that. Yep, managers. All right. All right. Now, if you're the All-Americans and anyone who was a SUNYAC winner, stand up. Because we have some SUNYAC champions. I think that we're All-Americans that are here, all right? Okay. A lot of... And there's 4 other people I want to recognize. There's several here that were assistant coaches to me. Dan Fay, Ron Lewis, Tony Peraza, and Tony Fiacco. Now we want to recognize these men, and I've asked my assistant coach that year. Ron came back, did postgraduate work and assisted me for 2 years, and he helped us win this championship. Ron Lewis, you come up here and introduce this team as we award their certificates. Thanks. Had a good year.
Coach, we're going to do this one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As you come up here, guys, stay here till we're all together.
Okay, to start off with, we're going to bring up some of the guys who didn't necessarily participate in the tournament where the team won the championship, but wrestled all year with the team, contributed in the workouts and some of the matches, as you'll see on your brochures there. We want to start off with now Dr. Greg Gear. Greg was a coach at Mexico High School. He was a school superintendent. He's now a professor at Coastal Carolina University in Myrtle Beach. Dave Jabut, retired New York State, living in Plattsburgh now. 38 years retirement.
We were both heavyweights.
Sorry. Randy Marin. Randy Marin taught school for 30 years and was a coach at Carthage High School. His wife Julie and son Brent, daughter Brianna. Next we have Larry Miller. Retired from the State Department of Health, works part-time not-for-profit. His wife Jana and sons Justin and Evan. Tom Honest, retired from the U.S. government, Social Security Office. His wife Johanne, daughter Sarah, son James, Utica, New York area. And Tony Vitale. Tony worked 30 years for corporate America. He's currently a business owner, has 2 children, lives in the Boston area. And now the people who were part of the team the day that we brought Brockport down. The first weight, 115 pounds, Jerry Pleskotch. 3rd place. Jerry owns a insurance agency in Watertown. He's married, has 2 sons, Alex, and the other one is, I can't see. I have a problem if I can't read their writing. Jacob, sophomore at Oswego, lives in Motortown, his wife, Melissa. At 134 pounds, we had Mike Bruce. Mike Bruce is not available. We tried to reach him for the last several months. We just, even with the internet, have been able to hook up and find out where he is or what he did. He was 5th in the SUNYAC championships at 134 pounds. 142 pounds champion was Tony Peraza from Potsdam. Tony's a retired chemistry teacher from, well, he coached at Ithaca for a while, and he has participated after Potsdam and is a veteran national champ in wrestling in freestyle in 2002, 2003, and 2005. He's a veteran national champ in Greco-Roman in 2004, and he's a Division III NCAA champion in 1976 and second in 1975. At 150 pounds, Keith Leindecker from Lawville High School. Keith's a lawyer. He was a runner-up in the SUNYACs in New York State. He lives in Lawville with his wife. I can't read your writing. Eunice. Jonathan, Courtney, and Richard. 3 kids. Uh, 158 pounds, Michael Schmidt. Mike taught school for 33 years in the Syracuse area. He writes on his little note here, he's the best we had at 158 that year. And he married one of our mat mates, Barbara, over here after they graduated. At 167 pounds, we have Joe Gallia, champion. Joe is a CEO, Next Gen Networks, wife Marianne, son Matthew, daughter Danielle, 4-time Northern New York champion, SUNYAC champ, 2nd in New York State, and an All-America, 2nd in the NCAA Division IIIs. Next, we have at 177 pounds, Rich Mulberry, champion. Rich is a quality engineer for SPX Precision Components. His wife Karen at 37 years, son Ian, and 2 daughters, Nicole and Erica, 4 grandchildren. He is an NCAA champion, Division III, and NCAA Division III official for many, many years. At 190 on this team was Fergus Murphy. Fergus Murphy was unable to be found. As far as we know, he did get involved with the military. They thought he was in California, but we were unable to contact him. He was a very integral part of this team. He placed 3rd at 190 pounds because he couldn't make the team at 177 pounds. Just like Tom McHugh wrestled heavyweight because he couldn't beat Fergus or Rich. But it made a very solid team overall that made it difficult for the other teams to have somebody to stop these guys from getting to the places that they earned. And the last one, probably the most emotional one, at heavyweight was Tom McHugh, runner-up. Tom left his way too soon, but he's represented here by his brother, Melvin, a son, Melvin, brother Mike, daughter Emily, and friend Randy Shell. as a heavyweight, it was very difficult for Tom to win even some of the tournaments held up here in Northern New York because of some very tough customers locally at St. Lawrence. But he did manage to become a Northern New York champ. He was also a SUNYAC champ and a second in New York State in 1975, and a runner-up in the NCAA Division III Nationals in 1977. So that's the team and all the people that were involved that could make it here today for the ceremony.
Wait a minute. You got to do the Stanley Cup here.
As you said, we're having a get-together in Maxey Hall to honor the whole 28 years, and we wanted with a picture with T, the bear, but you want to go over because you want to get your T-shirt, guys.
Tried.
We'll get it after. Yeah. But Neil, stay up here. I think Dennis had.
Joe Gallia was going to talk first?
He's going to make a presentation.
I'm just going to do it at the end.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe. Yeah. Hey, let me just get out of the way, and you guys can figure it all out. How's that?
We're going to have a little wrestle.
Yeah. Oh my God. My money's on Mulberry.
Oh, no. Mulberry. Yeah, we can outrun them.
Ouch.
Thank you, sir. What?
Who needed three, right?
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you to everyone here. Thanks to SUNY Potsdam. And I guess there are a couple of guys going to come up. Thank you very much, Neil and Marilyn. And there are some other folks, as the program was getting started, were very important. And guys like Pete Farrell, who was our trainer, did a lot for us, got us through quite a few injuries. Sam Molnar was very supportive of the wrestling program as it developed. And even fellow Mike Labita, he was just with us all the time. But one of the things I wanted to say, since there's so much to say, is like something about that's ironic about wrestling. And the irony of it is that it's the guys in wrestling get pretty close bonds with each other over the years. And the irony of it is that what you do in practice is you try to, for example, get on top of a person, lock their head, crank their head down into the mat, drag them across, and then he's got you in it. And there's always someone bigger and stronger than you are to keep you humble. And so it's kind of ironic how a lot of the wrestlers are, it becomes, it's not a team sport, it's an individual sport. And yet you wind up with so many friends. And friends from other schools. Binghamton used to come up here. We have developed lasting friendships with quite a lot of folks. And I came up to Potsdam, didn't exactly know where I wanted to go to college. I know I wanted to wrestle. Neil came down to visit me. After taking a look at the college, I said, wow, this is a beautiful place. This is where I'd like to go. Had no idea there would be, such a extensive program. I think a lot of guys came in surprised. I think 150 pounds, we had about 12 guys deep at one point, so it was like you're wrestling in the wrestling room, as was said earlier, was sometimes tougher than what you were going to see outside. I know when I came in, Bobby Johnson's got me moving up one weight class one year and down the next, and, we're all moving around. We had Tom McHugh. Actually, Tom was not a 77-pounder. He was a 67-pounder. Tom, he and I were very, very close match, but somehow I could edge him out, which then, of course, forced him up to wrestle with Rich, which then forced him up to go up with Fergus, which forced him up to go up to heavyweight.
They appreciated all that.
Yeah. So I remember one match, we're wrestling Albany, and he was going against one of the best guys in the conference, a guy named Rudy Vito. And some of the guys reminded me of that today. And so Tom is standing there, you know, about 167 pounds. And this guy's, you know, 230, 240, all muscle. So Tom is there. He goes in, he shoots, and he shoots what's called a fireman's carry, and he disappears. Where's Tom? All of a sudden, a couple seconds later, boom, he's on top, and he's got his points. So it's like, wow, you know, everybody was, I think even the guys from Albany, where I went to coach there at Albany, were surprised, you know, when that happened. And I remember I came in, I was varsity as a freshman. I came in my sophomore year, the new freshman came in, I'm like, oh, what's the big deal, what's the big deal? You go into the wrestling room, I have my first wrestle off, and someone's got me by the head and the leg, and I'm all twisted up down there. It's Keith, and I'm thinking, wow, this is not going to be easy. You know, it's not going to get easier. Anyway, and it didn't get easier. A lot of good guys on the team, really nice guys. All the guys that wrestled, they filled in, they drove you. And so I just, that's about what I wanted to say. Thank you to Potsdam. And explain that little bit of irony in wrestling, how somehow the guys get really close, and you get close because you've driven each other so hard. Thank you.
Greg Gear has promised that if I talk too long, he's going to shoot a double leg tackle, pick me up, and bring me back to my seat. So I'm going to try to do this backwards. Instead of thanking everybody, I'm going to thank everybody at the end. So what I'm going to try to do here is answer 3 questions. The 3 basic questions I'm going to try to answer here is, what is Potsdam? The second question is, what is a wrestler? The third question is, what is home? The first question is, what is a wrestler? A wrestler is a superintendent of schools, in my case, a chemistry teacher, an attorney, a CEO of a corporation, and a guy who goes to organic chemistry and is pulling about 18 pounds. Okay? A wrestler is determination. A wrestler is a guy who gets thrown to his back in the state finals and is down 7-1 and struggles to get back and to win. A wrestler goes home and he doesn't eat. A wrestler comes and he sweats. A wrestler has comrades who sweat with him, and they know the feeling of their face getting mushed into the mat. Tom McHugh, we had all kinds of sayings in the wrestling room. They were posted all over the place. And one would be, keep your feet as long as you can. Keep your head always. When you've wrestled, other things in life is easy. And Tom McHugh would say, that was true until I got married. Well, I'll add to that, until I was a parent of a teenager. What is Potsdam? Potsdam is excellence. Academically and athletics. Potsdam is music. Potsdam is family. Potsdam is connections. I took a course with Arthur Frankenthal, beginning piano. When my son was 3 years old, he goes, Dad, I want to play that. I want to play for Elise. And that began his 15-year love affair with the piano. Potsdam is integrity. Potsdam is history. And my mind is flooded with history, with the wrestling team, with the swimmers, talking with the swimmers. There's a plethora of all-American swimmers in this room. Potsdam is home. I've had a reoccurring dream for almost 15 years. Haven't had it recently. But I'm in Maxey Hall, and I'm looking for Coach Johnson. And I'm going to go to his house, and I'm going to have dinner there. I'm looking for Coach Johnson. And I really have to appreciate all the efforts that he had. We had 14 Hall of Famers, 3 All-Americans, 2 national champions. And we are an integral part of this university. Wrestlers are slightly different. Now I would like to thank some people. I would like to thank the president for being here. I would like to thank Assistant Director Mr. Mitchell for his work with the history of the wrestling program. I would like to thank Neil Johnson and Mr. Zaleka for their work making this possible. I would like to thank Mike Schmidt for 25 years of keeping the wrestling team organized. I would like to thank Dennis O'Connell, who will make some comments a little bit later. But for me, what I got out of wrestling the most important thing was not a national championship. It was relationships. And my most important relationship has been with Joe Gallia. And without him, there would have been no national championship for me. Okay? And we have a lifelong friendship that to me was way more important than any accolade that I received at this university. Okay? And beside my wonderful wife, I'm 25 years, so I want a martini or whatever, and 3 wonderful sons. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been a part of this university and made it such a wonderful, wonderful time coming back here. Because finally, I am home. And what is Potsdam? We are Potsdam. We are Potsdam. Thank you.
Every time I try to talk, I think I should have wrote it down. But when this became a reality, that the team was being inducted, the first thing I thought in my mind was that Potsdam is acknowledging that wrestling was here. And this award goes to all of us, from Don Fessinger, our first club team member that's here today, Joel Radford, who I thought was going to be here today, and I don't even know if he is because there's just been too many guys to say hi to. But he graduated, I think, in 1990. Every one of you guys that's here today, and every one of those guys in the program should take this as an honor from the college. They acknowledge that this program was here, we had success, and probably all the other athletes and all the other sports aren't going to have to sit through too many more like this. That's probably good for them. But that's it. That's all I had to say. So thank you very much.
Neil. Front and center. Is that what you're saying, wrestling? What do you do when you call somebody forward?
Back time.
All right, there we go.
First of all, congratulations to all the inductees. Welcome to the club. It's a very proud club. This is a wonderful day, but before I present a special gift to Neil and Marilyn on behalf of the organizing committee, Mike Schmidt, Ron Lewis, my wife Carol, and on behalf of all the wrestlers here and their families. I first want to thank Jim for terrific help in this case. Great job. Great job. And Don, thank you very much for all of the support and the perseverance. I also want to thank Mona and Lloyd from the alumni office for their patience and perseverance in dealing with wrestlers and registering and getting it together so we're all be here today. Neil and I have a number of things in common, but the two most important is that we both married smart women, and the second, of course, is wrestling. And when I got the word that the 72 team was going to be inducted, I was like super pumped. I mean, my wife's been up with me for 43 years. Okay, I mean, really pumped. So I'm in the living room going off, all pumped up, trying to come up with all what are we going to do? Record stuff, record memorabilia, yeah. Bugs, bugs, plaques. And my patient, smart wife is sitting there, just letting me rave, and after about 15, 20 minutes, I started to take a breath. And she's just sitting on the couch and she's just going, what? She goes, hey, people don't want mugs. People don't want any more stuff they have to pack up, forget where they put. How about this one? how about contacting all the wrestlers and having them write their thoughts and memories of Coach Johnson, wrestling? And I'm thinking, wow, that's a great idea. But I get pumped about that. So, thinking that through, and then getting the system going, I taught history in criminal law, criminal justice for 40 years. I've been in emergency services for 47 years. And I learned a long time ago that if it's not written down, it never happened. So we put together a 75-page book that includes the history of this whole process over the last 10 months, including narratives from the game. And I think after you review this, you'll clearly understand, Neil, that this great event today definitely did happen.
If I get things in here that if I read, I should not repeat.
There are things you're going to read that you didn't even know half of them.
I found out that a little bit yesterday. Telling stories, and I'm glad I didn't know about them.
Coach Johnson's induction book. Thank you.
Well, how do you close this one, huh? What a special day. I think I started off by saying it was a beautiful day for the celebration, but somehow a beautiful day just got a whole lot better, and it's through the generous support of all of you that has done so. In closing, I always mention the fact that this was a special invitation today. Obviously, this kind of event, but you need no special invitation to come back and visit us. And we hope that each and every one of you, somehow, some way, during the course of your busy times ahead, that you stop back and pay us a visit. We'd love to have you and stop by. And I know even today's athletes would love to hear about some of your stories and some of your occurrences here on campus. It's just be a wonderful opportunity. It means a whole lot to them, and we'd love to have you back. Feel free to come back anytime you like and stop by and say hello. So with that, I'd like to close it. We have other events going on in Maxie. I think that's been mentioned here during the course of the day. There's other events on campus. Feel free to take part in all of those. Summerfest is going on downtown. It's just a wonderful time to be in Potsdam. What is Potsdam? I guess it's all those kinds of things, right? Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much.